Hello all, welcome back. We are going to do a shoulder strengthening exercise today. It's not pre-Pilates per se, and it's not its own exercise per se. It's something I kind of made up, although I'm sure many teachers have, and I'm sure this is something you do in physical therapy as well. We do it mostly on our Cadillac. There's a bar, it's called shoulder strengthening. It's usually for men, that's done with a spring. I also give it to women without the spring if they're recovering from a shoulder injury. So great for the shoulders and neck, great for working your upper arms. And I'm going to remind you to look back at your wall and arm weight series, because you really want to think about your wall with this, and you want to think about your standing stance and arm weights. So this can be, if you find arm weights a little too hard, I would highly suggest this. Now, one of the things that's very important in Pilates, we use poles because we're watching for evenness. And I'm going to show you, I brought 3 poles over. This is the one that we have on the reformer that we normally use. This one I think is a pound. So it's not heavy. They do make heavier ones, and we do make lighter ones. But I just want you to see the thickness of the poles. This is the rollback bar without the springs on it. I just popped it off because I wanted you to just take a look to see how long it is, how wide it is, about how heavy it is, right? This one is, I would say, is a little lighter than this one. And then this is one of our poles that we usually use on the mat. It's thin. I always tell people it's kind of like if you go to the 99-cent store and you get a curtain rod, like the old school curtain rods, 99-cent stores usually have them. This is it, but this is a little heavier. This is 2 pounds, and again, they make this lighter and heavier. These are just options. The important part, and I'm going to show you the grip because this is something you use on the push-through bar when doing the shoulder strengthening exercise. It's a lot about the grip, and you're doing it standing and or kneeling, depending. Usually it's done standing. I have taught it kneeling, depending. Kneeling's a little harder, FYI, in case you're wondering. But we're going to be doing it against the wall. Eventually, maybe you can take it where you're standing off the wall. I would suggest the wall, and then I'll explain why. Again, it's feeling your Pilates box in your back, right? Because I like to do this, and it's about pulling that in and then feeling the arms from there that we're going to do against the wall. Again, grip. So I'm going to use this bar. And again, you want to find something. You can use arm weights, but the problem with arm weights, you can't tell. I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see this. You can't tell if you're doing this or if you're doing this, right? Because you'll be able to see. And a lot of times when we put our hands on, let's see if you can see me if I do this sideways, right? We drop and we hold like this, or we hold like this. I always tell people, wrap your hands around, but I call it the pinky pad, right there. You want that to make contact with the bar. And that's the hard part, because everybody will start doing all these crazy things with their hands. And just notice yourself when you're doing it, when you try to hold on. The goal is to hold on with your palms long. If you have to wrap at first to start, that's okay. I don't mind that. Per se, what I want is that pinky pad, because if you notice, let's see if I can do this sideways, right? It wants to come off. You want to feel that on the best you can. And that usually happens from a wrap up here. The more you wrap this in, the more you can get that pinky pad on. You see just what happened with my arm when I did that, right? We tend to do this and lock into the front, and then our hands do all this funky stuff. Wrap that upper arm to hold on. And if that's all you do, that's okay. And that you can do sitting. And again, you can do this sitting as well if you're not into standing yet. I would hope that you would work up to the standing part. Again, the wall is something that is an excellent exercise for everybody. So you're going to find your stance. Again, either heels together, toes apart, or parallel. And you're going to find where your lower back is on. And it's going to be hard to see a little bit because my arm is in the way, but it's this part that I'm looking, right? I don't want that to pop off. And it's the tendency to use the arm. So you're going to find your hand stance, so to speak, right? And you want to keep the back of the bottom of your ribs on. Even if you're a little rounded this way, that's okay. It depends on your strength and flexibility, right? Of this and this, right? It's the strength here and the flexibility in that upper back. And so what you're going to do, keeping that rib cage on, reach your arms forward in front of you. Just that alone is a big exercise because the tendency is to do this, even if you're a little rounded forward. Keep that. See if you can pull your sternum bone away from your fingertips to stretch your arms and get that feeling. And again, wrap that upper arm and then bend the arms in and keeping this angle. Now, the only part of your arm is going to work, I'm going to hold this for a second, is this part of your arm. You're stretching it from here. Keep your arm stance and your hand stance. Lift the elbows the best they go. It's like sliding up the wall and then lowering down. So oftentimes physical therapists, and I've seen other Pilates instructors teach this as well, you'll use the foam roller on the wall and press it up and down against, which is great, but you have to be careful about letting this happen or this, particularly with that roller. This keeps you a little bit more honest about what you have to do. Harder to do, but I feel my upper arm's working doing this. And down, and I would do like maybe 3 to 5 of these. 3 is the magic number. Feel your elbows come in, lower this down. You can put your pole down at your side. Never give up on doing your wall, right? Keeping everything in. Press and walk away. So that is a shoulder strengthening exercise. Again, depending on where you are in your practice, it's a great thing to do. It's particularly wonderful for us women because we don't have the same muscle structure in here that men do. So it's great just to strengthen even if you don't have an injury. I would suggest trying it out. Again, you have any questions, you need me to troubleshoot, comment below or email julia@clinginggracepilates.com. I would love to hear from you. And I will see you next week. Blessings. Bye.